Hello and welcome back to Jules Math Tools, where math is made easy. This session, we are calculating our final question on order of operation involving PEMDAS. And if you're ready to see how this is done, let's get started. So today we're working through our final question involving order of operation. And as always, we are going to begin with our parentheses. So we're going to multiply our 2 times 5, which is equal to 10, and our 8 times 8, which is equal to 64. And now we're going to add everything else back to our question, making sure that our fractions and our operation signs are all in their correct position. So now that we are done adding all of our information back, our next operation that we're going to solve will be our division. Told to keep, change, and flip our fractions. So that means my 2/3 will remain the same. I'm going to change my division to multiplication, and then I'm going to flip or take the reciprocal of my second fraction. Now at this step, I will also add my 10/64 back to my question as well. And now we're going to work through our multiplication operation. Remember that if you do choose to simplify, you can. And since in my fraction, I know that 3 and 12 has a common factor in 3, I'm going to reduce my fractions by dividing both numbers by 3. So 3 divided by 3 will equal to 1, and 12 divided by 3 will equal to 4. And now I'm going to multiply my fractions. So I'll be multiplying 2 times 4, which is equal to 8. And my 1 times 1 will be equal to 1. Now, of course, as you know, for our final step, we are adding fractions, which means we need to find the LCD of our 64 and 1. And we know that the LCD for 64 and 1 will, of course, be 64, which means that my first fraction will not change. And then we're going to multiply 64 times 1, which will equal to 64. And then 64 will also be multiplied to our 8. So we have 64 times 8. 8 fours are 32. We put our 2 carry the 3. 8 sixes are 48. 48 plus 3 will equal to 51. And of course, we're now going to add our fraction. So 10 plus 512 will equal to 522. And our 64 will remain in our denominator. And now, of course, we are going to have to simplify our fraction. And remember, like I told you before, if you are simplifying a fraction and you're unable to identify a common factor right away, do not feel pressured. Remember, sometimes you may have to reduce your fraction once and then reduce it again. But if you're not able to, look at the numbers right away and find a factor of your numbers, the next step that you can always take, in this case especially, you could probably change it to its mixed fraction form. But whatever steps you decide to take, remember to always play to your strengths. Okay, so what we're going to do at this point is I'm going to reduce my fraction because I know that they have a common factor that I can identify right away, which is 2. I'm going to just divide it by 2 just to make the numbers a little bit smaller for me to work with. So I know that when 2 divides into 522, the 2 divides into 522, 2 will go into 5 twice. 2 times 2 will equal to 4. 4 minus from 5 will leave with 1. We're going to bring down our 2. Changing 1 to 12. 2 divides into 12 6 times. 6 times 2 is equal to 12. 12 minus 12 is equal to 0. We bring down our last digit of 2, and 2 divides into 2 once, and 1 times 2 is equal to 2, and 2 minus 2 gives us a difference of 0. So in my numerator, I will have 261. And in my denominator, when 64 is divided by 2, that will equal to 32. Now, of course, at this point, if you're unable to find any other common factors, that you can divide these numbers by. That's completely fine, but we're now going to have to change our fraction into its mixed fraction form. With my 261, I know that in multiplying 32 times 8, 32 times 8 will give me 256, and that is probably the closest that I'm going to get to 261. So in dividing my 32 to 261, I will get 8. 8 times 32, of course, is our 256. And then when we subtract our numbers, of course, for our final step, we will have a remainder of 5. So my fraction as a mixed fraction will be our 8 and 5/32. Okay, so there you have it. We just calculated our final question using PEMDAS. I hope that this series was very helpful to you, that regardless of whatever stage or phase you were at, you were able to work and develop your skills to become a better mathematician and just better at solving fractions on the whole. But as always, remember to get some additional practice in, and we'll see you right here in the next session on Jules Math Tools, where the aim is always to make math easy.